Hello everyone, welcome to today's class. Today, the part of speech that we are going to discuss, this is something very important and it needs an entire lesson to be covered. We will also cover the remaining parts of speech like the conjunction and the exclamation and the article. But this, prepositions. Now, preposition is something that we all struggle with. Even established teachers, they sometimes struggle with preposition. So let's get right down to it. What is a preposition? So a preposition, it links a noun or pronoun. Okay, let me just write a sentence. The book is on the desk. The book is on the desk. Okay, example sentence. Let's write one more. The cat is under the chair. Okay, so just look at these two sentences. Now, up until this point, I hope nouns are clear. Verb, adjective, adverb. We've covered the main subject and the action of the sentence. If you remember, the subject is the noun which performs the action, the verb. How, adverb tells us how. How was the action performed? That the adverb tells us how. And the subject. Now, if you describe the subject, what kind of subject? That the adjective tells us. Tells us what kind of subject, quality. Now, let us look at this sentence. The book is on the desk. The book, this is the subject or the noun, is on the desk. Desk is also a noun. So there are two nouns here. So it's on the desk. Now, if you look at this, there is no adjective in this, right? Well, you can add an adjective. So here, the science book is on the desk. The science book is on the desk. Where is it? On the desk. So the prepositions are words that tell us where something is, that tell us where the subject is, or that tell us where the subjects are, if there are more subjects in the sentence. The sentence can be long, there may be many subjects. So take the next one. The cat is under the chair. Where? Again, where? Under the chair, not on the chair. So it's telling us specifically it's under the chair. Not on the chair, but under the chair. Not in, not into. Alright, this is under the chair. So you know exactly where to look. So under tells us exactly where the cat is. That's a preposition. Okay, let's continue rolling. Prepositions still underway. So let's take another example. So just to give you a geographical marker, the shop is beside National Highway 10. Okay, so beside, it tells you where it is. So there's a road going like this, and beside, that means at the side, right? Beside the highway. So that's where the shop is. So road going beside National Highway 10. All right. So it tells us where where the shop is. So there are more examples. This is important. So I want to give you time to understand the school. Okay. The school is between the bank and the post office. So it's between. So there's a bank and a post office here. Bank and a post office. Now the school is in between. Here is the school. Between. In between this and that here. in between. You don't say in the middle of. Okay, that's wrong usage. You say in between two things. All right, let's say there are two things and the school is in between, like this, right? In between, not in the middle of, and that's wrong usage. Don't say stuff like that. Don't even write things like that. Okay, let's do some more examples. The clouds, clouds, you know clouds. The clouds float above the hills. You might have seen stuff like this. If you visited the hills or if you live in the hills, then you know what I'm talking about. The clouds float above the hills. So here I'm just circling the preposition in every sentence. So I hope everything is clear up until this point. So what are prepositions? It tells us where something is. Alright, the clouds float above the hills. It's like a general statement. The clouds float above the hills. So the school is between the bank and the post office. Now there are other examples. This is, let's say prepositions tell us the position, right? The placement or the position or the location tells us the position, right? Now prepositions are very versatile. They tell us so many things apart from positions. Now prepositions of direction. Let's look at an example. We walked to the market. Okay, where did we walk to? We walked to the market. Where did we go? We walked to the market. So prepositions of direction. Preposition of direction. It tells you where we walked. You could also argue that we could use at over here. We walked at the market. Well, that's true, but the sentence would tell you something different entirely. If you use at, we walked at the market, that means you were already at the market. You're describing something which says that you walked at the market. You walked around about the market, did some groceries and stuff. But this sentence, too, it tells you something else. It tells you we walked to the market. It tells you that you went walking. You didn't drive there, or you didn't take a cab there, or a bus. It tells you that you walked to the market, right? It tells us that we walked to the market. Not on we didn't drive there. All right. Okay.